So, of course, it took me a month to do the final video for the Retired Racehorse Project. I wanted to show the cross-country video, but first I wanted to talk a little bit about the cross-country event when you do go to the Retired Racehorse Project, because I know people had a lot of questions, and I wanted to make sure that I did my best to answer all of the questions that people may or may not have if they've never done it or if they're thinking about doing it. So when you do the eventing in cross country, everything is judged. You do the dressage and you get your pattern. It's a novice level dressage. And then you do your show jumping, and that's judged. You're not judged on whether or not the horse pulls rails. You do get assessed negative points if you get refusals or anything like that. And the cross country is pretty much the same. There were 10 fences. It was a fairly small field. It was set up like you could do beginner, novice, or training. There was only 2 training type fences out there, and they weren't really huge training. It was probably, if it was training level, it was at the very bottom of training level. There was a corner that was not really a corner that we didn't end up jumping because I wasn't 100% sure. She was feeling kind of tired. I didn't want to overface her. And all the novice type stuff was, maybe an inch or so bigger than the beginner novice stuff. So you don't feel like when you get there, they're trying to overface your horse. They weren't. So then on top of that, they had 2 option jumps that you could jump that were a little bit harder, that you could get extra points added to your score and move yourself up. Once again, you're being judged too, so you're getting assessed points for how the horse jumps, how the horse gallops, and all that stuff. So the 2 jumps that were option fences one was the corner, and then one was a log on a hill through the water. And a lot of people were getting stops trying to do the log on the hill. And so when I started off in the cross-country course, here I am right now. When I started off on the cross-country course, I wasn't 100% sure if we were even going to try it. I was just like, okay, well, we'll just see how she goes. We'll see if she stays bold. When we got out there to do the cross country, by then she was just feeling just a little tired. So I only did 2 warm-up fences, and then I was like, okay, let's go. So that jump she just did right there, I was a little worried about because it was downhill. The water's on the other side. I didn't know what she was going to do. She jumped it great. Here she went in the water great. And so at this point I'm thinking, okay, if she goes up the hill, does the next jump great, I'll start thinking about doing the log on the hill.
I know, I have no excuses to not go to the water.
But at the very least, I didn't want to get a refusal. I just wanted her to go clear. Here she jumps that great, and I couldn't believe it. She was giving me everything that she had. She was laying it all out there. And so here I wanted to give her a good approach. So here we're going back into the water, and at this point you have the choice of doing the log on the hill for extra points or just doing the jumps that are outside of the water. So at that point I just made the decision we're going to go for it. She jumped it great. I couldn't believe it, and I'm so happy, and I'm screaming at her at that point that she's the best horse in the world. And then we gallop off, and as you can see, the jumps are really, really nice and inviting and just great for a young horse. They're not really trying to set you up for failure. They're just trying to see how well you've prepared your horse for the sport of eventing. So then we go down and around the corner. It's kind of hard to see because it's kind of far away. Like most cross-country things, it's really hard to shoot video unless you have multiple cameras set up. So we go around the corner, and then it was a coffin, which you can't really see, but she goes over a jump, then goes over a ditch, and then that's the last jump right there. And then you have to gallop up the hill, and you're being judged on how well you gallop. I just let her do, how fast she wanted to go. I didn't want to push her because, like I said, we did the show jumping, which you're seeing here right before that. and then went right to the cross country field. She was feeling just a little bit tired, so we only did 2 warm-up fences in the cross country before we went, because I didn't want to waste her. I didn't want her to be completely exhausted at the end of it. In fact, when we finished the cross country, we crossed the finish line. I did probably a couple strides, and then I jumped off her and walked her all the way back to the barn. If I was more confident with the field and I knew where we were, I probably would have taken her saddle and saddle pad off and left it in the field, because it was a decent walk back to the barn. And I just felt like the whole week she was fantastic. She gave me everything. She was the best horse. I mean, so much heart. It is true what they say about mares, that mares will give you, if it's even physically possible, they'll give you more than 100% every single time. They'll try for you, and that's exactly what she did. She's a great horse, and I'm so happy with everything that she did this year and all the ups and downs of the Retired Racehorse Project. So with that said, a lot of people were interested in when I was talking about the cost of going over there. I was part of the cost that I felt like was cheap was I was able to find really good Airbnbs for like $50 a night, which was a 2-bedroom, 1 bath, and you had the place to yourself. So there's a lot of options as far as lodging and staying there when you get to Kentucky. There's a lot of options for layover facilities that are really, really reasonable. But of course, if you want to do what's right for your horse, you're going to get there early, and you're going to give them a nice chance to relax and stuff. So the prices just start adding up, unfortunately. So, I think my Airbnb was like $47 a night, and it was really nice, and it was really close to the horse park. And it was fantastic while I was there. So I can't really think about anything else that people were asking. So I'm going to post another picture. If you guys have any questions, I'm happy to answer as honestly as I can. I don't think that there's anything wrong with, asking about, money or prices or how much it cost or what I thought. As a whole, I thought the whole experience was fantastic. I wish they had one here. Here's pictures of the Airbnb. But anyway, I wish they had one here on the West Coast, because then it would be a lot more financially reasonable for someone like me to do it every year. I would love to do it every year. I just can't afford to go across the country like that. So once again, Flynn is doing great in her new home. She's an amazing horse. She did an amazing job in every single event that I put her in. There she is in her new home with her new little friend. And I encourage everyone to go ahead and try and compete in the Retired Racehorse Project, because it really was an amazing experience, and I got to meet a lot of amazing people and was exposed to this great horse.